refused to give my kids presents on Christmas morning. Before you judge me, let me explain how we got here. Every Christmas for the past 12 years, I've done everything. The shopping, the hiding, the wrapping at 2 in the morning, the handwriting disguised so the kids think Santa's real. My husband's only job is to wake up and accept the thank you hugs for gifts he couldn't name if you put a gun to his head. This year, I was exhausted. My mom had been sick, I'd been working overtime, and I just needed help for once. I asked him in November to handle the kids' presents while I took care of everything else. He said, "Yeah, babe, I got it." I reminded him in early December and he told me to relax. I reminded him again a week later and he snapped, "I said I got it. Stop nagging me like I'm one of the children." So I stopped nagging. But I also didn't trust him, so I bought backup gifts and hid them in the garage just in case. Christmas Eve afternoon, I asked where he'd hidden everything so I could help wrap. He looked at me and his face went white. He'd completely forgotten, and I mean not a single gift purchased for any of our 3 kids. I just stared at him while the excuses poured out. "I thought you were handling it like you always do." Then, "I've been so slammed at work, like he hadn't gone golfing twice this month." Then, "We'll take them shopping tomorrow. They can pick what they want." I said, "It's Christmas Eve. Everything is closed. They're going to wake up to nothing." He shrugged. "Christmas isn't about presents anyway. We'll explain it. They'll understand." Then he kissed me on the forehead like I was the one being dramatic and went to bed. I heard him snoring by 9 o'clock while I sat in the living room staring at the empty tree. Around midnight, I walked out to the garage and stood there looking at the backup gifts. I could wrap everything right now, and my kids would never have to know their father forgot they existed. I've done it before, not this exact thing, but versions of it where I covered for him and made him look like a father who actually shows up. I picked up the wrapping paper, and then I thought about how he'd come downstairs tomorrow morning with that big smile and watch them open presents and say, "You're welcome, buddy," for something he had nothing to do with, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I put the wrapping paper down, walked back inside, and went to bed. Christmas morning, I woke up to my kids screaming with excitement as they ran down the stairs. I followed them and watched them turn the corner into the living room and just stop dead. My youngest looked at the empty tree, then at me, waiting for someone to tell him where to find the presents. My daughter's face went hard because she's 13 and old enough to know something was really wrong. My husband came down the stairs behind us holding coffee like it was any other morning. My son asked, "Where's all the stuff?" And I watched my husband open his mouth to start spinning whatever lie he'd come up with. I got there first. "Your dad was in charge of Christmas presents this year. He didn't get any." My husband jumped in with his big fake smile. "Buddy, I didn't forget. I wanted to do something different this year. We're gonna go out together and you guys can pick out whatever you want. Isn't that way better than me guessing?" My daughter stared at his smile, then turned to me. "Then why is mom crying?" His smile cracked. "Don't worry about that, sweetheart. Just go get dressed so we can head to the store." She didn't move. I said, "Nothing's open. It's Christmas." He started pacing around the living room. "I'll find somewhere. We'll make it work. It'll be an adventure. We'll drive around until something opens." The more he talked, the more desperate and pathetic he sounded. My youngest started crying because there was nothing under the tree. My husband wheeled around and pointed at him. "Stop it! You're ruining this." I stepped between them. "You don't get to yell at him because you failed." He got right in my face. "Maybe if you didn't treat me like a useless idiot every day, I would have had room to actually step up for once." My son tugged on my sleeve, still sobbing. "Mommy, why is daddy screaming at you on Christmas?" My husband looked down at him and said, "Shut up." Everything in the room stopped. My daughter stepped back from him. "I don't want anything from you." He stood there for a second, looking at all of us like he was waiting for someone to take his side. And when nobody did, he turned and walked upstairs and slammed the bedroom door. I went out to the garage and brought in the backup gifts. My son watched me put them under the tree and asked why I didn't put them out last night. I said, "Because I'm done covering for your father."